I would like to welcome you to an iCat Flex training video demonstrating the simplicity of patient scheduling and image acquisition. Using the iCat Flex with SmartScan Studio or DEXA's Imaging Suite and TX Studio, you will quickly capture exam data and view images for treatment planning. The iCat Flex and controller computer are powered independently. Both must be on to function properly and are available for use immediately after startup. No warm-up is required. Let's begin by powering on the iCat. Press the on button on the operator control box. The power indicator on the operator control box and on the iCat Flex overhead should light up. Next, power on the controller computer by pressing the power button on the front of the computer. Now turn the touchscreen on by depressing the power button on the right side of the panel. After the touch panel has been turned on, you will be asked to provide a username and a password. After you have entered these, the touch panel will now be ready to receive scheduled exams. The username and password should have been given to you at installation. If not, you may contact iCat Technical Support at 800-205-3570 and they will be provided to you. Next, let's go to a clinical workstation and schedule a patient exam using SmartScan Studio Manager. The software will have been installed during the iCat installation on one or more workstations. Select New Exam for a new patient. A patient ID must be entered. You may use any combination of letters or numbers. The ID could be the one assigned in your practice management software, or you could enter something like last name, first initial, and the birthday year. Let's just enter 4321. For the patient's family name or last name, let's enter Brown. Let's enter Yvette as the given name or first name. While not required, it is suggested to enter a birth date. Next, you may select gender, ethnicity, and a referring or providing doctor's name. Next, choose either a PAN or a CBCT scan and press the bottom right blue arrow. We have now scheduled the patient for an exam. Before we go back to the touchscreen, let's schedule an exam for an existing patient as well. Select the patient's name, the modality, and then press the bottom right arrow. Easy, right? Will your practice be using DEXA's Imaging Suite to schedule exams? If so, let's schedule another patient using DEXA's. On a clinical workstation, open DEXA's. On the DEXA's administration screen, select New Patient. Next, enter data for the patient. The ID will automatically be assigned. Let's use Ed Jones as the patient name. Let's enter his Social Security number as 443-519999. His birth date is July the 20th, 1970. He is male. Enter provider or referrer if desired. Select OK. Select the patient to be scanned and click the extraoral X-ray icon. On this screen, click on the 3D icon located at the top right. A pop-up window will appear informing you that the patient has been scheduled for acquisition. Click OK to dismiss the pop-up. Let's return to the touch panel. You will see that we now have 3 scheduled exams. John Smith did not appear for his scan. Let's remove his scheduled exam by pressing on the name and then pressing on the bottom right arrow. Next, press on the bottom left arrow. Press OK. Let's select Yvette Brown and press the bottom right arrow. This screen presents us with a variety of scanning options. To see more, simply place your finger on the touch panel screen's right side and move your finger up vertically. If your scanner is the Flex MV, there are no additional preset protocols. It is important to put the patient's health first when selecting a protocol for the scan. Keep the following in mind when selecting a protocol. Multiple low-dose scan settings provide responsible patient-focused care. Choose a height to narrow the image and the applied dose to only the anatomy of interest. Preset fields of view simplify the imaging process to more efficiently focus on capturing the anatomy to fit each patient's unique case. Target specifically desired views including maxilla or mandible single arch, both arches, temporomandibular joints, cephalometric views, and full skull. Customize the scan so patient's anatomy is not exposed outside the selected field of view. Capture information critical to treatment through a clinically responsible approach that controls exposure to the patient. Use Pan 2D panoramic imaging when CBCT 3D information is not required. To help you select the best scans, the iCat Flex user manual contains suggestions for appropriate scan protocols for the patient and the case. For example, lower dose scans are best for children, third molars, and orthodontic progress records. Standard scans are more suited for implants and cephalometrics. Higher resolution scans are better for endo, root fractures, and periodontal conditions. For additional information, please consult the iCat Flex user manual, which was left at your practice at installation. Let's go ahead and choose the Arches TMJ QuickScan Plus protocol. When selected, the protocol icon will become larger and modality settings will be displayed at the top of the screen. You will see that the volume diameter is 16 centimeters. Volume height is 11 centimeters. Voxel size is 0.3 millimeters. Scan time is 4.8 seconds. Total exposure time is 2 seconds. And KVP is 90 and the MA is 3. Next, let's press the bottom right arrow. At this time, you're confronted with three choices. The first one is a dry run. When this option is selected, the gantry or overhead will rotate in the exact same manner as a scan without the exposure. A dry run can be used for patient demonstration of the machine motion and to check for shoulder clearance. The middle selection is a scout scan or preview, which exposes the patient to a small amount of radiation to check the patient's positioning. You may also use a scout scan for a hand-wrist image to observe growth plates. The full scan is used for diagnostic purposes. This can be either a CBCT scan or a pan scan. Before you make your selection of a scout scan or a full scan or a dry run to check shoulder clearance, you would want to set the patient in the Flex. Please consult the Flex user manual for the proper patient positioning or view the Patient Positioning Quick Reference Guide, which is located on a USB flash drive and attached to a 3-ring binder that was left with your practice at installation. If you cannot locate it, you may call iCat Technical Support and request a PDF of the Quick Reference Guide. Let's select the scout scan to check the patient's positioning, then press the bottom right arrow. Next, press and release the blue scan button on the operator control box when the ready light is illuminated. Radiation will be emitted and the scan will be executed. When the scout appears, you will see that it is a lateral view of the patient with the radiated area displayed. Check to ensure that the occlusal plane is parallel to the displayed line and all the required anatomy is captured. There are brightness and contrast slider controls at the bottom, which may need to be adjusted for greater visibility. The back and front slider will move the gantry to a more anterior or posterior position if any desired anatomy is out of the viewing area. Press the bottom right arrow. If the scout showed the patient improperly positioned and there is a need for another scout after repositioning, press the scout scan icon and proceed as before. If another scout is not necessary, press the bottom right arrow. Press and release the blue scan button on the operator control box when the ready light is illuminated. Radiation will be emitted and the scan will be executed. After the scan reconstructs, it will appear on the touchscreen. Review the image to ensure a quality scan was acquired. If the patient moved during the scan, there will be an appearance of a double cortical outline of the bone. Use the controls located at the bottom of the screen to help with visualization. I am using simulation software for demonstration purposes, and the vertical lines appearing on the image will not appear when you take a scan. Press the bottom right arrow. You may choose same exam if the scan was not satisfactory, or if desired, you may take an additional scan. For example, a doctor may wish to take an open and a closed bite scan for TMJ diagnostic purposes. Otherwise, press New Exam. Now choose OK to close the exam. We are back to the scheduled exam screens ready for our next patient. On the clinical workstation, open SmartScan Studio Manager and select Yvette Brown. Double-click on DX, PX, or CT to respectively view a scout image, a panoramic, or a CBCT scan in TX Studio. Let's choose CT, which will load the scan into TX Studio, where you will have complete access to the patient scan for treatment planning. We are now able to do orthodontic, implant, airway, or other treatment plans on this patient. Also on the included USB flash drive is an instructional video on the basic usage of TX Studio. Again, if you cannot locate this, you can watch it on YouTube by browsing for TX Studio and playing TX Studio for Beginners. If the patient was scheduled in DEXIS Imaging Suite, locate the patient in DEXIS, then click on the extraoral X-ray icon. You will then see a thumbnail of a panoramic that was taken by the iCat Flex and an iCat icon that indicates a CBCT scan was taken for this patient. Double mouse clicking the pan thumbnail will open the pan for viewing in DEXIS. Let's double click the iCat icon to load the patient exam in TX Studio. Refer to your DEXIS software manual for additional information. This concludes the iCat Flex Patient and SmartScan Studio training. Again, for further information, consult the iCat Flex User Manual or call iCat Technical Support at 800-205-3570. From all of us at iCat, thank you.